All right, everybody. Hello. How's everyone doing? Go ahead and turn on your videos if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hear from Donna Elle as she speaks to us about advancing ideas with intentionality. I'm your host, Shreya Kowet with CWLI, and I'm just going to be in the background if you need anything. I'll monitor the chat box if you have any questions during the discussion. And we'll also open the floor for Q&A at the end. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to use the chat box. We want to make this very conversational today. So if you haven't had a chance to have a conversation with Donna or hear her present, you guys are in for a treat. She is an incredible leader here in Chattanooga. And she actually recently moderated our leadership luncheon that we did back in June on the topic of intersection. And it was so powerful. She's been called to really help others realize their personal worth and invest in themselves. And so she has over 20 years of experience in the public eye, and she's just a true women's advocate. She's strong, she's powerful, and I'm honored to know her. I could go on, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Donna so she can begin her session.
Thank you, Shreya. And I want to say thank you to Caroline and yourself and Kim for allowing me to do this. It is Tuesday, and I am excited it's Tuesday. Hey, everybody. I want to see everybody's faces just to say hello. My name is Donna Elle Harrison. In a second, I'll actually show my presentation, but I just want to say thank you for logging in and saying, you know what, I'm ready to advance my ideas, and I am going to trust Donna for this hour to actually just listen, because you could be doing anything else. So I see a lot of familiar faces. I appreciate you. So that makes me even more nervous to be on this call, but we're going to have a good time for this hour. So just kind of sit back, relax, and listen. And I also want to make it, like Shreya said, where it's not one-sided, where we are having a conversation back and forth. So I'm going to actually share my screen now. All right, hold on one second. Of course, when you try to share your screen immediately, it says no. Okay, here I go. Here I am. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this presentation, and we are also going to give you an opportunity to share a few links and ideas that I have, and different things that will hopefully help you professionally. But the name of the topic, you guys have seen it all over social media, is called Advancing Ideas with Intentionality. And you're thinking, you know, what exactly does that mean? And I can't wait to explain. Today's objectives: I'm going to educate, engage, and empower you. The goal is to advance your goals and ideas by being an intentional leader. You can have all these great ideas, but bottom line, leadership is a behavior. And no matter what your title is, no matter what your pay is, no matter what your position is, you have two choices. You can be a bad leader or a great leader. But today we're going to talk about how to be a great leader with intentionality. Also, we're going to engage you today by aligning your personal gifts, your brands, your intentional leadership style. What is your gift that you have, that April doesn't have, that Shreya doesn't have, that Caroline doesn't have? Even though you guys may have some similarities, nobody's going to bring something specific like Donna brings it. They're either going to bring it different, or they can bring it better or worse, but it's your personal gift. We're going to teach you how to talk about staying in your lane and being confident in that. Also, my goal is to empower you by teaching you how to be more confident by being intentional. Bottom line is, you want to know what you're going to do. You want to execute what you're going to say. We want to trust that you're going to do whatever you say you're going to do. So here's a quick icebreaker. We're going to start out by doing it in the chat, but I might call on a few people if you guys are interested in that. I hope you are, because I really, really want you involved. So the icebreaker is simple. if you could think about a food, because all of us like to eat something delicious and all of us eat. If you can think about a food that describes your week, one food, what would it be? I'm going to give you an example. My week has been an egg of a week. It's been scrambled, sunny side up. It's been boiled. It's been hardened. It has been scrambled with cheese, but I have still overcome it. So if there is one food to describe your week, put it in the chat. I want to read a few of them out and I want to ask you why. All right. Sheree, is there a reason why I'm not seeing the chat? Oh, there it is. There is the chat. Here we go. Somebody says, let me see, Karen. Karen says she's leftovers. Karen, why are you leftovers?
We're quarantined, so I'm just getting by. So I'm probably not going to cook a lot. That's what's happening.
Well, I am glad that you are safe at home.
We're okay. We're okay. Thank you.
April, you're having a pizza kind of week. What does that mean?
Everything's very much the same in this base, but it's always different every day.
Okay. All right. I gotta ask Madison. Oatmeal. What kind of oatmeal of a week? Is it an instant oatmeal or are we putting this thing on the stove?
Oh, it is a instant oatmeal kind of week. I am literally smushing 2 jobs into one right now, and it's just like, all right, we're smushed today.
All right. Well, thank you all for sharing. Oh, wait, I gotta ask one more. Ronell, you're having a milkshake type of week. Why a milkshake type of week? And that sounds good because I hadn't had a milkshake in a long time.
It does sound good. I've not had one either, but I feel like I've been in a blender and somebody's turned it on high speed and I've just been spun around all week.
Thank you so much, Ronell, for sharing. I think we all can relate to that. But what I love about us women is that because we have so many things that we juggle all the time, we may not feel that we're doing it well, but I guarantee you are equipped to do it well. All right, let me go to my next slide. This is really weird. Here we go. I gotta go out and back in. If you touch one thing on Zoom, there it is. All right. So a lot of people might not know me. Some people might think they know me, but I always love to say I do share a lot of information about what I do in this community on social media because my ultimate goal is to inspire. So if you follow me on social media, you might know a little bit about me, but if you don't, I would love to share who I am. So this is baby Donna. You see this picture on the left. Baby Donna is dressed to the nines. My mom always overdressed me with fluff and big bows. My hair was really big. You got the old school wicker chair. She went over and beyond. I was really the first grandbaby that actually lived with my mom and my grandmother. So I was super spoiled. During this time, my mom truly, because in the Southern household, we ate, right? So when you're happy, you eat. When you're sad, you eat. And before I knew it, I became a plus size middle schooler and a plus size high schooler. And I would always relate to food. That was my outlet. And sometimes when I'm stressed, it's still my outlet. Before I knew it, I had gained a lot of weight, but my mom dressed me like this at school. So when I would go, even in middle school, when I would go to school, of course, it was teased. I was teased. I'm not going to use the word bullied because I'm not going to, I'll say I was bullied and teased. So at that time, I was looking for an outlet to be seen in a different way. And I wanted to be the person that was in the forefront, but a lot of people don't know I am an extrovert introvert. So I don't mind being on a stage, but I really like to be behind the scenes. But so I would watch this lady on TV and you see her to the right, and I'm gonna tell you why she has an X in a second. And I would watch Oprah on TV and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a motivator. She's African-American. At the time, she was overweight and she was always on stage. And I was going to do whatever I needed to do to be intentional and be the next Oprah Winfrey. So as I did that, I aligned my career with being Oprah, and I became a teen reporter for my high school on radio, and I got hired at Power 94 by the time I was 19. My first full-time job, I said I was going to practice my craft on the intercom, was at the Red Food Store, and I would practice on the intercom because I wanted the ultimate Oprah voice, and I would say, there's a cleanup on aisle 3, please. A cleanup on aisle 3. So I would be intentional about working towards my goal. I was doing everything to be the best Oprah. I was in the community. I was on radio. Again, I was a bigger girl at that time, but I felt like I was seen and heard. And what I realized through my career and everything that I've experienced, good and bad, is that I no longer wanted to be the best Oprah. I am a doggone wonderful Donna. And that is what I want to share with you guys today, is that you guys can have an idea, you can have a perspective, but if you are not owning it based on who you are and you don't budge, it's not going to come off authentic. I have tried to go in everybody else's lane but myself. And when I do that, the outcome is not the best. It looks pretty good, but it's not as good as Madison would do it, or as Ashley would do it, or as what Heather would do. So a little bit about Donna. I am number one. This is something that does not budge no matter what position I do, what panel I speak on, where I do a voiceover. Donna Elle is number one. She's a motivator. A lot of women, and I love us, the first thing we always put when we describe ourselves is that we're a mom or we're a wife. But nuh-uh, I am a motivator. That's my number one. I'm the Director of Cultural Tourism and Inclusive Marketing for Chattanooga Tourism Company. I'm the media personality at Brewer Media Group. I started out there when I was 19. I left probably around full-time 9 years ago, but I'm back there part-time and I love what I do. I host a show called Caring for the Community. If you hear the aquarium a lot, I do a lot of voiceovers for them and outside of the market. I'm a public speaker. Author of the book Smokin Cookies is 5 years old. I've lost 100 pounds. That's part of my journey. I have Donna's D.I.V.A.s workout classes. I've ran 17 half marathons, 1 full marathon, and a gazillion of 5Ks. And I work out 6 days a week. And one of the things that I am most proud of, I am a mother of an almost 26-year-old son who will be off my insurance in 1 month. All right now. So that's a little bit about Donna. And when you see all these accolades, it's not me bragging. These are the great things that I talk about forward facing. But behind this smile, you have no clue about this journey. And I know every single one of you ladies have something behind your smile. And instead of using it for negativity or anger or complaining, your attitude determines your altitude. So I want you to flip that upside down. And I want you to start deciding, who am I? What are my gifts? What's the one thing that I'm going to do in everything that I do, whether it's a mom, whether it's an author, whether it's I'm going to speak somewhere, I'm going to the gym. What is it that you do in your careers or in your personal life that will not budge? And the number one thing on my list is I am a natural motivator. I want to, I breathe it, I live it. And that's my gift. That might be your gift too. But most of the time I use my voice as a motivator. And if that's your thing, it's great to own it because you're going to bring something different than what Donna brings. So let's go into a little bit about what our study is about today. An idea. How do you advance an idea? An idea is a noun. It's a thought or a suggestion hold on one second. I got to move my thing over. A thought or suggestion as to a possible course of action. The word that stands out the most to me about an idea is that it's possible. It could happen. I thought about writing a book. I thought about applying for this job. I thought about taking my family on this trip. I thought about having some me time. We need it all. It's not a thought. How can you execute it? Being intentional is an action. It's done on purpose. It's deliberate. You are intentional. Every accolade that you saw that I listed, I set out a plan and I went for it. I don't care if it's a meeting that you're going to have. You have to be intentional about what you would love your outcome to be. When it comes to leadership on the left, leadership is a process of social influence, which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. I just want you to take that in a little bit, because no matter where you're sitting or how you're listening, leadership is a process of social influence which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. At the end of the day, it's about that goal. Being an intentional leader, the intentional leader uses purposeful decisions, language, and actions to advance the organization and his/her individual aims. Again, being an intentional leader, the intentional leader uses purposeful decisions, language, and actions to advance the organization and, put your name right there, individual aims. I love that part. So if I said it again, the intentional leader uses purposeful decisions, language, and actions to advance the organization. Angela's individual aims, Karen's individual aims, Ronell's individual aims. When you are a leader in the workplace and you are being intentional about being that leader, you have to make sure that there's a personal goal as well. We hear it all the time. People work for people and not for businesses. How much turnover have we seen within the last year? People sat down in 2020 and they said, you know what? I finally found out who I am. I'm getting ready to go somewhere where somebody appreciates me. I don't want to work in the office all the time. I'm going to be remote now. I decided to move, travel clear across the country. I'm going to do a new field. I'm going to do pottery. Yeah, I got an accounting degree, but this is something what I want to do, because we are now focusing on who we are. We're taking it personal. So I want to ask you guys a question. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody on your team, it can be somebody in a leadership role, it can be somebody that works alongside you. Have you ever had somebody on your team that had an idea and didn't follow through? If you have, put it in the chat, yes or no. They had an idea, they sold you on it, and they didn't follow through. It could be your fearless CEO. You don't have to name them. But has that happened? And you can actually tell me about the time. I'm going to call on you individually. And I'm going to ask Sharaya, I'm going to lean on you for that, because if I click in the chat, it takes a minute for me to get back to my presentation. But could we call on somebody, Sharaya, that said, yes, tell me about a time where someone has had an idea and they didn't give you enough clarity and didn't follow through?
How about Ashley?
Sure. Okay. So my situation was, it wasn't so much of an idea, it was a change in leadership, and what I was previously doing, everything was going away. So it's kind of like all my programs that I were managing, we were no longer working with certain partners. And then the new senior VP was like, well, we're going to be doing something else and you're going to be more busy. You're going to have all this you're going to be doing. And come to find out it wasn't. It was literally getting rid of like 3 or 4 programs, trying to focus on one program that wasn't doing the ability or doing the same as the previous. So it's this idea that, yes, you're going to be more busy. You're going to have all of this opportunity for this and that, when in reality, it was just something he just said to, I guess I would say, maybe shut me up when I was asking a question at that time.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes when that happens, Ashley, is because they don't know. they don't know. One of the biggest things that someone taught me, I used to think that because you have a title, that leader is the person that's always leading. What makes a good team is if you get input from everybody else. And the reason why I say that is because in those situations when leaders do not know, we have the ability to manage up. I know we hate to do it, but sometimes I had to have a conversation with somebody in my workplace today and said, we need to gather and I want to envision your goal. Well, we're going to come up with goals. I said, no, but you have a goal. There is nothing. I'm in a dating game, y'all. I'm going to tell you, I'm 40s and dating. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. There is nothing worse than an indecisive man. I want to be clear about what the goal is. Where are we dating? Are we hanging out every now and then? Do you have availability? There is nothing like an indecisive person, but when you have clarity, it makes it so much easier. I'm going to ask for one more person. Sharia, could you give me one more?
How about Stephanie Mansueto?
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
My closest coworker, we're peers. He approves, we kind of work together on kind of everything we do. He sits with me here in Chattanooga. He has ideas constantly. I mean, good ideas.
Right.
And ideas, the example doesn't even matter per se, but he doesn't feel empowered. He doesn't feel heard, and he feels too busy to say anything or take action or implement them or try. He doesn't feel empowered to implement them. But I try to do it for him because I'm sick of hearing him whine about it. And that doesn't, people are hearing me. But it's unbelievable how people don't speak up for themselves and people don't feel empowered.
And Stephanie, thank you for sharing that. Is that frustrating sometimes on your end?
Oh, it's absolutely exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sick of hearing about it, to be quite honest. I do, because he does a lot for me, so I need to listen to him, but it's tough.
What suggestions have you given to him to feel a little bit more confident in that space to execute the ideas that he's had?
You know what? I really try to assure him that people value him, so he feels like he's able to move forward on some of these things. It's one thing, this speaks to being with a large organization. Sometimes your ideas, it's really hard to get traction on. Right. We try to empower our employees. It's called Raise Your Hand. And we have, if they're big ideas that can't just be taken to your manager, we have like a Raise Your Hand functionality where you submit it. There's a team that works on your idea. You get a t-shirt. Anybody can do that. So it's really cool, but it's still super tough. Huge organizations, it's really hard to implement ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. And what, it goes back to Stephanie again, thank you for sharing that, because I think all of us have experienced that personally and professionally. We have girlfriends that hang around us and they say, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. And they get mad when somebody else does it. How many people have seen that? Raise your hand. Yes. We see it all the time. And then, so you're the one who is overwhelmed because you're constantly pouring into that person and you feel drained because you're like, oh, why doesn't she just get it? I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, do it. She's brilliant. And after a while, you're questioning yourself, is she really brilliant? And it goes back to what I said personally. We're always so caught up in focusing with our employees and our employers that they need professional development. But most of this is personal development. There are places that I am in now that I would not have confidently been in 10 years ago because I did not know who I was. That is personal leadership building. So again, it goes back to me saying the top of my description was not mom. I love mom, but mom says caregiver, helping this guy out, Stephanie, protecting him, mothering him, building him up. But that is not your personal gift or your personal responsibility. My first thing is motivator. So if I go in and I'm talking about marketing at my position that I do at Chattanooga Tourism full time, I'm going to motivate the team in order to get what I need. Whatever idea that I have to pour into them, I want to make sure that they're all on the same page. And I'm going to tell you how as we move forward. But I know this doesn't have a lot to do with your ideas being intentional, but you're working with people every single day, and you are a leader, and these people that are alongside of you are leaders, but it is not your responsibility to carry them. It's your responsibility on your positions and in your workplace, and is to make sure that they define who they are, because you know who you are. All right, let's go to the next one. So how can we be intentional? How can we advance intentional ideas? So my goal was to be an on-air personality. I'm giving examples that I can relate to. My goal was to run a full marathon. My goal was to make sure my son has graduated. My goal was to write a book. The first thing you have to do when you have an idea and you are an intentional leader, it sounds simple. This stuff, you already know this. You have to own who you are. It sounds so high level. It sounds so generic. But if you know who you are, bottom line, if you're deliberate about who you are when you walk in a door, you know who you are. If you know the goal, you're going to accomplish it. So if I come up with a specific idea and I say, Sharaya, I think I want to talk about advancing ideas. And I reach out to Sharaya every blue moon and I talk to Kim hypothetically and I throw ideas around. Eventually, people are not going to trust me and I'm not going to trust myself. You want to make sure that you are intentional in the process of execution. You have to do whatever you have to do to not second guess yourself. You have to deliberate. I'm deliberately saying, this is what I'm going to do. And these are the tasks in order to execute it. But again, it has to be something that you are not going to budge from. What is your personal brand and your elevator pitch? Ronelle talks about this a lot when she presents at the CWLI events about branding. People have been calling me, ladies, the TikTok queen this summer. And I'm going to tell you why they've called me that. I post a TikTok. And I haven't done it recently, twice a day for 3 days. When I do it, I started it in March all the way till June. My followers started out at 2,000. Now I'm at 3,500. There's nothing that I do that does not align with my brand. In every post, people are going to see me smiling. They're going to see me motivate. They are going to see me motivate. That's who I am. That's what I bring. It sounds like, oh, she's doing TikToks. But I did it because I'm intentional, because I'm getting ready to launch a podcast for women. And my core audience that I was talking to are motivating women. The same thing I do in my job every single day. I want to motivate people to make sure that they have the correct marketing so that people can come to Chattanooga. When I teach at my exercise, I want to motivate you because I want you to get your power. And you have to stand firm in it. I know it sounds simple, but one of the things someone asked me the other day, hey, we want to invite you to a speakers panel. I said, oh, this is great. I saw who the people were and I was like, Donna, don't judge. This is just me being honest. Don't judge. But it was a person on there that didn't align with my brand and my thoughts of positivity. So I want to be mindful of where I place myself in this process. I got to deliberately say, is this person going to take away from what Donna brings, or are they going to add? Own it. Know what your plan is. If I'm a motivator, what do I want to accomplish? I want to motivate people. I want to inspire people. Think about those two things. If you have a plan of an idea, you're just going to have that idea there. It's indecisive, but the action is being intentional about it. I'm going to work everything and every single day to get towards that goal. I love this one. Dream big, deliver with a plan of clarity. What did Ashley say? This person had a great idea and they were just shooting me stuff. They had no clarity. Make sure you know exactly what your plan should be. And when you are executing it to others, write it down, read it over and over, get up in the morning and talk about it. I don't care if the plan is, I want my team to collaborate better. I think that we're doing more Zoom calls now and people are reading emails. How can my team collaborate better? I'm going to start pouring into myself because, again, I can be selfish when I'm intentional. It's about the organization, but it's also about the need that I have. You deliver with a plan. You have a professional focus when you're intentional. Do you need professional development? Also, I talked about it on number 1, the energy focus. Do you have people around you that's coming up with these ideas all the time and they're not executing? Decide where you want your energy to be. And also, you want to manage your time. You get up in the morning, the first thing you're doing, I don't know who you are, you're scrolling on Facebook. And guess what? You are second guessing yourself. You're wondering, who am I? But a true leader is going to do whatever they need professionally in the morning to get clarity. For me, personally, I do 3 things. 1, I pray. I get my scripture. That's for Donna. For 2, I listen to a motivational speech. 3, I'm just going to breathe and meditate for 2 or 3 minutes. What is it that you need to do besides second guessing yourself? The first 20 minutes of your day determine what kind of day you're going to have, because all day you're going to second guess yourself because you saw Wendy traveling overseas during COVID with her family and she looks happy and you're sitting in quarantine. That's how we do. Number 3, I'm going to go, I love this quote. I'm going to talk about the quote real quick. You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for worthiness. If I don't know who I am, I'm always second guessing myself. I'm talking about other people. I'm being messy. But when I know who I am, I don't have to hustle for your worthiness. I walk in and I walk in with confidence. If you've never seen me, I'm 5'11" in stature. Y'all, I used to hate it. I would walk into a room with my head held low because people were shorter than me. Sometimes in pictures, I notice I'm kind of like holding my head down to lean towards the crowd, but now I stand strong and bold. I walk in with heels. I'm 5'11", 6'2", 6'3" with heels on, and I own it because I know when I walk in a room, people are going to say the magic question, how tall are you? And my response is, how short are you? Did you play basketball? And then I say, did you play mini golf? But own it, own it, own it. Number 3, self-awareness is everything. Get everyone on board. I said it earlier, your team, your family, you could have everybody else on board and then you're not on board. So you need your team, your family, and yourself. Your attitude determines your altitude. if I walk into work or if I talk to Sheree this morning and I said, hey, yeah, I messed up a slide. Let me go back and do this. It is what it is at this point, Sheree. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Sheree would have then called Caroline. Her and Caroline be like, you know what, Donna's a fake. You know, she's an imposter. She's gonna act all excited on this call and she had an attitude. All right, let's go ahead and get through this presentation. But you have to watch how you treat people. And I know we hear that all the time because it has come back around with me full circle in the workplace. Sometimes you might have to report to that person. Sometimes that person might have to report to you and you've been griping. So they know if you've griped about that person, guess what? You're going to gripe about everybody else. They remember. So make sure that you have everybody on board with your plan. If there's an idea that you want to execute, get excited about it. Be clear. Don't be indecisive. Know that you know that you know that you know because you've done the research and you have the confidence to do it. Most of the time when people don't have confidence is because they have not practiced it. I've been doing this so long, I can ad-lib any presentation, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be great at it. It doesn't matter if y'all say it's amazing, but if I don't have the confidence when I walk away to feel like they have walked away with something, then that's a problem. Your goal is to empower your team, your family, and you. All of us need to be on board. Number 4, conquer your milestones by investing in you. Invest in you professionally. It's so many things online that you can listen to and see. It's so many different things you can read books, network. Ronell says this to me all the time. Oh, all of a sudden I see you everywhere. It's because I've been put in places that I never saw for myself because of how I treat people. And I don't have it all the time, y'all. Please know this. It's people years ago to be like, oh, Donna Elle was mean. You know why? Because I was insecure and didn't know who I was. And that's another thing. This is an offshoot. When people have attitudes and they're negative, check on them. Check on them. Check on them. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. But sometimes we get such in the habit, I'm not fooling with her anymore. I'm gonna disregard her. But sometimes it's best to say, how are you doing? And if they do it all the time where it's negative, then you at least ask once. But check on people. But network. Get on some boards. If you're not on a board, serve this community. Chattanooga is a tight-knit community. I have seen people come in this market and say, oh, it was hard to get in. We're a funny community, but once you get in, we embrace you. Network with people. Take classes. You know, we think about what would I like to make at a certain age? Write that bad boy down. What do I see me doing? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? One thing I am envious of about my son, he works for Best Buy full time. He was at in Johnson City Best Buy, and now he's at the Knoxville Best Buy. So y'all need to go see him, Turkey Creek. His name is Brandon. What I love about him is that he is writing his goals down and everything he said he wanted, he's doing. I've been a little envious. I'm like, yes, you're coming off my cell phone bill. You're making what I make because he wrote it down. He has a clear plan. He knows what he wants to do. It's not mama's plan, it's his plan. He's been being intentional about watching his finances, being intentional about who he networks with. He's calling people when he doesn't have the answer. Mama, who do I network with? Go to some council meetings. Most people 25 are not there. Most brothers 25 are not in there. Go in there, shake hands. Let them ask you who you are. Stop, even if you've been networking for years, network some more. You don't know everybody. Get out there and do it. Number 5, communicate your mission. Communicate your idea. Communicate your goal and get people's buy-in. When you go in there, you're talking to your fearless leader or to your counterparts. And one of the things that I love is that, so my title, this is a secret, is Director of Cultural Tourism for the Chattanooga Tourism Company. So bottom line, I bring brand awareness to anything that's not outdoors in Chattanooga. So our aquarium, the zoo, our live music, our arts partners. And I added Director of Cultural Tourism and inclusive marketing. I get a call from the state that says, hey, we want to know more about this position. My boss is in like, oh, wow, we didn't know. Okay, yeah, that is her position. But I wanted it to be clear about what I'm doing. So when I'm on these team calls and I am vetting some of our marketing with our attractions or vetting our marketing, I'm saying we want to make sure that we are being inclusive with our presentation. I want to make sure that when we see visuals from Chattanooga, that there are diverse people there. And I want to make sure once we invite them, people are going to be welcome. And guess what? That's the first time y'all heard it. But if you talk to my team, they've heard that 46 times because I'm communicating my mission. I'm going to promote the arts. I'm going to promote the culture. I'm going to promote the heritage. But in the process, we're going to be inclusive in that process. And we're going to hear it over and over again. And guess what? Now, when I'm away, I hear them singing the same song. Communicate your mission and don't tell them. Get their feedback. Everybody won't be on board. Have a plan. Give them clear direction. Give them reminders of what that plan is on those calls. Ask, listen, learn. Honey, you do not know everything. You do not know everything. Act instead of react. If somebody says something on a call that agitates you, take a minute to breathe and then respond. If you get that email and you've been on 10 Zooms, breathe. If you want to get your team's buy-in on a project, ask them. And if they don't have the answers, ask them again. Listen, how come you don't think this project will work? Because sometimes they have a better idea than what we have. Ask them, listen, learn, share. Give constructive and useful feedback on your goal. Give constructive and useful feedback to individuals that you are around. Don't just nag and nitpick people. Have a solution without controlling. Assist without controlling. Suggest without controlling. Sometimes that's easier said than done, especially for the ones that have mother at the top. Right? I'm used to, oh, we should do it this way. But sometimes I have to say, okay, so what do you think about that? And most of the time their answer is right and it makes sense. You don't have to prove that you know everything. Ask, listen, learn. I love this quote. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. I failed several times. I failed daily I work out 6 days a week. But I always say the little fat girl inside of me is screaming, come on back home, girl. And I'm like, I don't want to come back home. But sometimes I want to. But you have a choice in the ideas that you make. You have a choice as part of your success. You could take that negative relationship that you had with your past coworker and feed it into this new one and be miserable. You can take those failed ideas that you never executed and beat yourself up about it, or you can take that idea to fruition and have fun in the process. I said, own your mistakes and your reactions. If you fail, hey team, I know I had this idea that I was going to do 2 months ago. I hate to bring it back around again, but I'm going to own it. I dropped the ball. And I know we can do this together. And I know you may feel like you can't trust me in this process, but you can. Consistently, you're going to give them a plan. We're going to have a conversation weekly about this particular idea, and I want to get your feedback. Everything does not have to be an email. The new school way is a great email. The old school way is that everybody has to pick up the phone and talk. You got to meet people halfway. Why don't those millennials just call me? Why do those old school folks want to keep me on Zoom all day? You got to meet people where they are, because if you don't, you're going to lose them. Meet people where they are. Own mistakes in your reactions. If you flew off the handle at work because something was happening at home, you don't have to explain everything that happened. But you also can share, hey, got a little thing, a few things happening at home. My bad, let's move forward. Don't do it, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You don't have to do that. Have fun building these ideas. They had my favorite quote out there. I love it. I want y'all to think about 3 things that you have to do when you get off work today. 3 things that you have to do. Say them to yourself. What are 3 things that you have to do? I'll call on one person and ask them 3 things that you have to do. Beth, I'm going to ask you, what are 3 things that you have to do?
Get stuff ready for the next day. I have a middle schooler, so that's one. He also has soccer practice this evening, and at some point cook. Eventually, I guess I'll have to feed those kids, but so yeah, a lot to do, not to mention get myself ready for the next day.
That's right. April, thank you, Beth. April, what do you have to do? Name 3 things that you have to do.
Have to cook. I have to get my son ready, and I have to wash.
Okay. So you have to. And I think some of the biggest misses as we're doing new projects or setting new goals for ourselves, I have to. And if we can just change that with I get to. I get to wash clothes today. It sounds so silly, but it's not. I get to. I get to afford having detergent. I get to do it at my home. I get to spend time with my child. I get to get ready for the next day. I get to. In the process, as you're planning out your ideas, as you create clarity, confidence, communication, and knowing who you are, that you will not budge for, you get to. I get to go for a walk with a friend this evening. I get to go see my mom today. I get to have a good lunch. I get to have a meeting with my boss. I get to. Have fun in the process as you are advancing your ideas and your gifts. Have fun. So I have some homework for you. Who are your constituents? I want you to write that down. Who are the people that you are around all the time in the workplace, at home? Who are your constituents? Number 2, what do they bring to you? What do they bring to you? Your personal friends, your professional friends, your work friends, your prayer groups, your reading book clubs, your workout groups. Who are they? What do they bring to you? And ask yourself, what do you bring to them? What do you bring to them? So if you don't know who your brand is and how you want to represent yourself, This is gonna be that answer. Because if you were able to reach back out to me, and I hope you guys do, and you say, who are your constituents, excuse it, the misspelled word. But if it said, who are your constituents, and you name all negative people, or you just add one person, that's a problem. If you don't know what they bring to you, if it's not laughter, if it's not goals and determination, if it's not fun, that's a problem. But when you figure out what you bring to them personally is what you bring in the workplace professionally. It should not change. You don't have to be two different people. This will help you be intentional with your ideas. This will help you be intentional to finish those just ideas and actually turn those into actions, to concrete evidence. I was able to do this. I was able to run a 5K. I was able to complete this strategic plan. I was able to join this board. They're not ideas. You have clarity, you know who you are, and you're intentional about it. Here is one. We cannot change, and excuse it being blurry, we cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware, we cannot help but change. When you start having more self-awareness about who you are, when you start realizing where your energy is focused, when you start realizing that these are actionable items that you can actually execute, you guys are being intentional today because you knew you needed a little something, right? I want to be able to follow through, and I hope that I helped you guys with that a little bit. Again, this is stuff that you already know. You already know it. Just continue to pour into yourself with books and professional development, as many Zooms as you can do virtually. Listen to them while you're working. Do whatever you need to do. And I would love for you guys to get in touch with me. So my website is DonnaElleMedia.com. My social media is Donna Elle Media. I hope I can motivate and inspire you. And I also would like to take any questions if you guys have specific questions.
Hey, Donna.
Yes.
Do you start off every year with new goals, or how do you think about your goals?
Oh, wow. That's really good. So I used to have goals every year. And what would happen in that process, by the middle of the year, I would be very frustrated because I would come up with new goals, and I'm but you didn't accomplish the other goals. Like, how are you, then I start beating myself up. So what I do now is I have goals set every morning, and it might be 3 different goals, and I might add to a goal, or I might have accomplished that goal and it's gone. Like one of the goals that I want to do this year, and I want to start this year, but COVID is not being my friend, but I want to bring women that don't know each other together and just do brunches. I just want us to come together. It doesn't take a job for a job to tell me I need to do that. That's part of my character. So I'm writing that goal down. There's a specific number with my weight loss that I want to be. I write that down every morning. And that doesn't discourage me, but you should have a goal every morning when you wake up, and you can have those big goals every year.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And just seeing it every morning in your journal is so, so helpful.
It is.
I love that.
Thank you for asking.
Wonderful presentation, Donna. I loved especially what you just said about bringing new people together for brunch or whatever. That is brilliant. But the whole thing was just excellent. You're always inspiring and energetic. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I love me some Ronelle. I really do. Thank you.
Hey, Donna, I just want to add something else. I started something similar for a specific, it was really for my prospects, like the companies I was prospecting. I would get the ladies together who were in the roles that I, like my primary contact.
Right.
It turned out to be so much more than what I started it for. Those women connected, shared best practices, all know each other. I mean, for years. And of course, I stopped during COVID and we haven't got it back up. But that is like the best thing. And it's so easy to kick off because people want to gather. They want to get to know each other.
You know what? I love that. And why haven't you invited me is the question, Stephanie. But I want to say that a lot of people always wondered why I started Donna's Divas. And I'm going to tell y'all real quick. So that's my workout class. It's at D1 Sports Training in Hamilton Place. It used to be in 4 different cities. And I stopped it because I had a very personal experience with a family member. So I had to stop it. But the reason why I brought that group together is because I used to teach exercise at the downtown Y, and I wanted plus size African-American women. I'm gonna be honest, that was my draw, to get people like me into exercise. And before I knew it, I had the tiniest women that were from all backgrounds that were coming to my workout classes. And we also always had the same thing. It was either divorce, career, children acting up, husband is stupid, boyfriend did this, whatever it was. But it didn't matter if the girl worked at Bojangles or the lady was at a CPA firm. It did not matter. We all have a deep connection. And so I started Donna's Divas because we would come together and go running and we would exercise. And I still have that class that I teach, and I love to promote my class, Monday, Wednesday, 7 p.m. But we come together, and even though that is a workout, it's friendships that you can't miss. And I've been teaching that class for, it'll be 12 years in January, and we're having those conversations. And I had to ask myself something personally while I was preparing for this presentation. I said, Donna, you miss your friends, because in weight loss, y'all know how many different gyms have y'all been in? People switch. Mm-hmm. And I miss my friends that I've made along the way, but they feel guilty because they've either gained weight back or they're not working out again. And they feel like that was our only reason for a friendship. And to me, it wasn't. So I felt a piece of rejection there. And I said, Donna, what is it that you have not been intentional about that you need? We don't ever think about our needs anymore. We're always worried about everybody else's needs. The reason why I started Divas is because I needed to be the voice that I did not have when I was trying to work out. I needed to be positive. I wanted somebody to call my name, not to beat me up. And so with that being said, now I need to have those groups. I need to have those conversations. People are in their homes a lot more and more isolated. My son is gone and grown. He's really not fooling with me anymore. So I have to say, find your happiness the way you know how to do it. You know how to do it through motivating. Bring people together. They need each other. That's the thing. Again, I keep telling y'all ladies, you can't budge on what your gift is. Don't make up somebody else's brand. Mm-hmm. But Stephanie, I look forward to my invite, and thank you.
You'd be bored to tears. It's all like controllers and CFOs and.
My sister is actually a controller at CBL.
Oh.
And you don't know how you connect people. My mom was an accountant. She retired from the city.
Okay.
Yes. So no, I don't have a knack for numbers, but guess what? I have a knack for people.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Donna. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. And I hope I didn't bore you, because I know I'm Miss Energetic. And when I talk to my mom about certain things, because she's such an accountant, and my sister, they're like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah.
This was great.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. It's great to see you. I see you out and about. I've never seen you on a Donna Elle CWLI conversation.
Yes.
So thank you. Any other questions? I know we want to wrap things up. All right.
Nobody else? Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
just motivating us and inspiring us. I really enjoyed this open discussion about intentionality. I really did. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then just thank you everyone else for taking time out of your day to join us. We are going to have another program on September 28th for inspiring a positive team culture. So please mark your calendars for that. And as always, I just put in the chat there, we'd love to hear your feedback, so I'll send out this brief survey and an email as well, but we just always want to continue to improve our programming. So please go ahead and take that brief survey. And if you missed anything today at the beginning or anything, we do archive this session for you guys, so you can always go back and take a look. And any PowerPoints materials that Donna shared, I'll be sure to extend your way too. But anyways, just thank you everybody so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day.